Other big story this morning, the fate of the national Christmas tree after wind toppled that tree. Matt Gregory joins us now live from President's Park. And Matt, the tree is upright, but it's still not clear if that particular tree will survive for the ceremony tomorrow.
Yeah, Wisdom, that's why they're bringing in, the National Park Service rather, is bringing in a special team to examine whether or not it is actually salvageable. You can see it, it's a silhouette over my shoulder right here with a crane kind of holding it up, if you can see that against the backdrop of the city right there. Now, this tree that toppled over yesterday was actually a replacement for the original tree that was here, that was planted, because that one died from a fungus. So whether or not they'll be able to move forward tomorrow, that's sort of the big question on the table. I got a tour from the National Park Service at the Christmas tree setup Tuesday morning, and at that point, crews had just put the star on top. They still had some of the 58 little trees to set up around it. But around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, things took a turn. A National Park spokesperson says a high wind gust breezed through, the tree moved, it snapped the cable holding it up, and the tree fell over. By 6 o'clock, a crane had raised the tree back up, but it still has to be evaluated by a contractor and a horticulturalist to see if it's salvageable for Thursday's event. It's just the latest snag in the National Christmas Tree saga. This tree was actually a replacement for a planted tree. It was cut in West Virginia and put up November 14th, and that's because the other tree succumbed to a fungal disease with just weeks to go before the Christmas tree lighting. So, where does this leave Thursday night's lighting and show? Well, the National Park Service says the show must go on. We're just waiting to find out how. So one of the things that is still over there around the tree are these 58 little state trees and U.S. territory trees that are decorated by students from across the country. So that is still there. But the ceremony will go on, we've been told by the National Park Service, but whether or not this main character here that is being held up by a crane at this point will be a part of the show, or what that tree lighting could look like, that remains to be seen. We'll be checking with the Park Service this morning, and we'll be working with them throughout the day to find out the latest on the Christmas tree lighting ceremony and how the fallen over tree will play into it. Outside the White House, I'm Matt Gregory. Back to you.
All right, Matt Gregory reporting. We also know that if they're able to salvage that tree, they have to do a lot of testing on those lights, may have to rearrange some things as well to make sure that everything is still working, again, if they're able to salvage that tree. But as Matt just said, the show will go on.